mics on? We'll be all set. Good morning. We'll try that again. This is Blaine Greenfield with kind of a special show. I'm really excited to be here this morning with an impromptu barbershop quartet show. And I guess I'm hosting it and going to introduce it in a second. I'm Blaine Greenfield. I have a show here on WPVM, the Blaine's World Show. You just may have heard, and we're on every Wednesday at 9 a.m. in the morning. But today we have in the audience with us a special show, and it's a group. It's a barbershop quartet. And I'll ask, is it Steve?
Steve.
We'll
Yes.
ask Steve to sort of be the spokesperson for it. Steve, who am I speaking with this
Well,
morning?
you're speaking with a group, would normally be a quartet, but today we're a quintet.
I noticed that.
From
One, two, three.
yeah.
Okay, great.
Land of the Sky Chorus, which is a Barbershop Harmony Society chapter that has been around Asheville for 71 years. It's called Land of the Sky Chorus. We meet on Tuesday evenings, and we rehearse. We have a lot of fun together. We break off into quartets, but we're also a chorus of about 30 gentlemen at the time. We're all gentlemen at this moment. There's a possible future change to that. And you can see that we have a lady with us today, in fact, CJ. CJ sang with us at the Holiday Community Chorus, where we sang around Asheville some nice Christmas songs. She has a wonderful voice, so we asked her to sing with us today as well.
Okay, great. And so this group is, we have this quartet today, plus one, and you do concerts, is that correct?
We do concerts, and okay, we do concerts, especially we'll be doing a concert in mid-June at the Asheville High School. But we do, we go around the city whenever anyone requests that we do either a quartet group or a larger group or a chorus. We are very versatile, and we do about 10 to 15 shows a year.
Okay, and you also do, which is perfect timing, you're also available for Valentine's Day, is that correct?
That's right. Today and tomorrow, all the way up until about 8 o'clock tomorrow evening, we will be singing Valentine's for anyone who would like to have one. You can go to our website, www.ashevillebarbershop.com, and the first thing you'll see is an invitation to get a singing Valentine.
Very sweet. And Steve, before you have you sing a song or two, could I just have the rest of the group introduce themselves, if you would, and come up to the mic as you introduce yourself. So if you would.
I'm Pete Kirchner, live in Hall Creek.
Okay, thanks, Pete.
I'm Lyle Peterson. I live up at Mars Hill. I'm one of the bases of this group.
Okay,
I'm Bryson Lai. I live in South Asheville, and I'm a bass also.
great. And you met Steve, and
I'm CJ Wilson. I live in East Asheville, and I'm singing baritone.
okay, I'm going to put you guys on the spot, but I think I heard that you have about 3.5 hours worth of songs we're going to sing. Right, and we're going to condense it into, I think, 20 minutes or so of the show. How many songs are we going to talk
Well, we
about?
could do a couple of songs.
Okay.
These are the songs we feature when
Okay.
we do Valentine's.
So why don't we do a first one? We're having upcoming Valentine's Day. That song is going to be what?
Let Me Call You Sweetheart, very apropos for Valentine's Day.
Okay, if you would, take it away, and we'll get kind of close to the mics if you can. That'd be great.
Okay. Let me call you sweetheart, I'm in love with you. Let me hear you whisper that you love me too. Keep the love light glowing in your eyes so true. Let me call you sweetheart, I'm in love with you.
There's only one problem with that song, and the problem was I wanted to start singing too. You know?
That would have been just fine, Blaine. I'm sure you have a great voice.
Well, no, I wouldn't go quite that far. But one of the great things about this is that you can tell groups that you have the mic. So, you know, I control the mic, so I could put my volume on low and then let you guys sing. When you sing, do people sing along?
Yes, sometimes we invite people to sing along. Sometimes people sing along just because they're in the spirit of it. I've watched a lot of people, especially former barbershoppers or just people who are singing in another chapter. They're in our audience, and they start singing along, and that's perfectly fine with us.
What if they're off tune?
Oh, no, barbershoppers are never off tune.
Sing quietly is what they do.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
they sing quietly.
sing quietly.
That's right.
Let me ask you folks, I'm always interested in this, is that, and we'll go around the room here, how you got into barbershop singing, and if you would.
Well, I got invited by a gentleman that I went to church with about 25 years ago, and he was a bass with the chorus, and said, "Hey, you want to have some fun on Tuesday?" I said, "Sure." So he said, "Come on down." So I did, and I've been doing it ever since.
How long has that been?
That was in the late 80s.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, as a kid, had you sung?
A little bit. We did some stuff in college with the oratorial chorus, doing the Messiah and stuff, but that was really the only experience I've had singing before this.
So it must have been cool to all of a sudden get back into singing?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And the nice thing about our chapters, you don't really need to know anything about music. You just come down and we'll give you learning tracks and music and stuff, and you just learn at your own pace, and we just have a great time.
How many songs do you do? Or do you know?
Probably 100, I guess.
A lot of songs? Okay,
We have a
cool.
repertoire
Yeah.
that rolls, we have a repertoire that rolls over, changes, and probably we have about 20 at any one time.
And so-
pick up 6 to 8 every year.
Great. And the same question, so how do you get into, come on up closer if you would.
I was a choir boy in church for 8 years, and then my voice changed, and they were no longer interested in me.
So you had to retire for a whole bunch
I
of
had
years.
to retire, and I sang in an small a cappella group in college, and then got involved in careers, and didn't sing for a long, long time. And I also had a neighbor who bugged me until I agreed to come, and that was about 15 years ago.
What's kind of cool about Barbershop Quartet, like you said, is all of a sudden seems to be making a resurgence with especially all the a cappella groups,
Yes.
I forget the name of the group, but there's a popular group that they're on America's Got Talent.
Pentatonic.
Yeah, they're the big
Pentatonics.
ones. And now there are a whole bunch of others.
Yeah.
But boy, is the movement coming back. Are you seeing that in the Barbershop Quartet too?
Yeah, I think that the largest number of new members are under 20.
Oh wow, that must
so-
be
so
that must
there's
be
a
a
big-
change.
That's a real change, because the average age otherwise is in the 60s.
Now, the
Right.
Barbershop Quartet music, too, and we'll eventually come to a second song you're going to be doing, but some of the songs, or at least you do there, from our previous guests were talking about music from the 30s and 40s and 50s. Most of this music is kind of old. Is that a true statement?
Yeah, I think that's the tradition, and part of that's because the kind of music we sing wants a melody, and so a lot of the stuff that's more recent, or at least 10 to 20 years ago, within that range, has not been as melody focused as the older stuff.
Though I wonder, 50 years from now, if we were doing this show, or 100 years from now, would they all of a sudden be doing music from the 1990s, 2000, 2010, 2020?
People who listen to other people performing like to hear things that they recognize.
That's true, too, yeah.
And so we've actually introduced a whole lot of music, like Disney music and other things that are James Taylor and other things like that, that people do recognize who aren't 60. And those are being arranged more and more for.
And there are actually some people who aren't in their 60s and 70s?
Yeah, there are.
There
There are. Yeah,
Can you
there are
believe-
actually.
More and more.
Yeah,
Okay,
actually more
more.
and more. Go ahead.
Anthony, come on, we'll switch gears here and have next.
One other thing.
Yeah.
Is we work in high schools as volunteers to try and facilitate youth quartets, and there's a young ladies quartet called Formata that just went to the international competition a couple of weeks ago, and sang on the Grand Ole Opry.
How cool is that?
It's really
Great.
good.
If you would, sir, again, your name is?
Lyle Peterson.
Lyle. So, same question. How do you get involved in this group?
Well, I've been singing in choirs and choruses, ever since I could talk, pretty much. But
So about 30 or 40 years ago?
more than that. A gentleman that I was singing in choir with said, would you like, have you ever sung barbershop? And I said, no. And he said, well, we've got a bunch of old guys that get together and do that on Monday nights. Why don't you come along with me? And I did, and the harmony just really grabbed me. And to be a part of that harmony was something I knew I just had to continue. So when we moved here, one of the first things I did was look up the chorus and was able to join.
I don't know if you know the answer, but the term is barbershop quartet. How'd they come up with that term, or why is it a barbershop quartet? You know, what's the origin of the term barbershop quartet? Do you know?
I couldn't say.
Well, there are 4 voice parts.
Right.
There's tenor, lead, baritone, bass, and a minimum of 4 people can sing that. So the tradition has been, even if we have a big chorus, we break off into quartets and sing, you know, either to the audience or just out in the hallway or wherever. So the main reason is it's because of the 4 voice parts.
And in the very earliest days, there were no written arrangements. Gentlemen would start with a tune that they knew, and then others would join in and try to harmonize. And it evolved into what we now have for harmony. You know, we have a bass that sets the bass, and a lead who particularly almost always sings the melody, a tenor who sort of floats above the melody, and a baritone who puts in all the missing notes in the chord, and there it becomes a quartet.
What would happen if you had 4 bass? I mean, could you do a quartet, or sometimes some guy gets sick or somebody doesn't show? Do you ever get stuck when you have 2 or 3 of the same singer?
Well, we've got a spare today,
That's right.
and some of us do know more than one part to at least a few songs.
So you could pinch hit on that a little
Frequently
bit.
so. There was a time several years ago when I was with a quartet singing Valentine's, and it was snowy and icy, and our tenor fell and broke his arm. So while he was in the hospital getting that casted, we found another chorus member that could sing tenor, and we went ahead until we could go to the hospital and pick him up and finish the day.
No, did he finish the day?
Oh yeah,
How cool is that?
it's only a broken arm.
If you would, same question. How long have you been doing this?
15 years.
15. And your name
years.
again is
Bryson.
Bryson.
Lyons.
And how'd you get involved?
Well, as I say, I had a neighbor who was a long-term barbershopper. Actually, he was the cousin of a neighbor. But every time he came over to the neighbor's house, he would come over and bug me. And finally, I thought the easiest way to get him off my back was to come to one and then tell him I don't like it anymore. But I didn't find that. It was really fun.
Had you done this in another life? Had you sung?
Well,
You said in church.
Well, I sang in the boys' choir, and then I sang in a cappella group in college that was tight harmony and very similar, and a lot of the same songs actually, and that was a little while ago.
I'm wondering, this would be cool too, if there are any actual barbers who are in a barbershop quartet. Have you ever seen that? Or?
No, I think I'm not sure where that came from, but there's really been a re-recognition of the fact that our music really has a lot of its roots from black a cappella, just ear singing, that started in the fields, and they would just sing 4 parts while they were working, and then on the streets or in barbershops, they'd sing, and I think it got picked up by songwriters and publishers, and as many things like this happened in that era, they could sell more sheet music to white people who were buying it if it was white quartets. So the black contribution is just being endorsed and recognized now, because it really was the major root for the music we do.
And Steve, same question. You've been doing this for how long?
Well, when I was younger, I sang a little bit. I played a little bit of guitar, and then there was a long break. I was over in Europe, and my wife one day, Deborah, she said, "Hey, I'm going to go join a little pickup choir." about 15, 20 people. Would you like to come? And I thought, yeah, I'll come along. And I fell in love with the whole idea. We got bigger and bigger and bigger. I became their chairman. So for 17 years, I sang with Voices International in Luxembourg, and I became the chairman after a couple of years and stayed that for 15 years. I was just totally immersed in it. It was almost like a full-time job, and I loved it.
Do they have women's barbershop quartets?
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely.
So that's been a change over a
Yeah.
period of time.
Well, there's another organization called the Sweet Adelines, and I think there's another one, too. isn't there, Bryce?
Harmony Inc.
Harmony Inc. is another one that's ladies who organize choruses and quartets.
Do you ever do a concert with them?
Well, we did the holiday
Oh.
community chorus. Also, when we do our concerts, we usually bring in other talents, and we have a local group called Acapella Alive. Is that right? Acapella Alive is the ladies group, and we have invited them to sing with us as well.
And Song of the Sky is the,
And Song of the Sky is the Sweet Adelines group here in Asheville.
And even today, I'm impressed. We have a guest performer as well. And
Yes, and I've enjoyed singing with both of those women's groups here in town.
but how'd you get involved in? They just saw you at,
Well, the
on the
holiday
street
chorus
today.
was a great opportunity to sing with the Land of Sky chorus, and I love having the deep bass sound as well as singing with an all-women's group. So it was an opportunity to try a different format of singing with a different range of voices, which is delightful. And
we were
that-
sitting in a restaurant one day and we heard this lady humming to herself. I was gonna say, here for us.
Oh, I love it. No, is that a true story?
No.
Oh, but it's a good story. But anyway, so now you're involved in this Valentine's Day promotion as well, too? Mm-hmm. So have you done that before?
It's my first time doing Singing Valentine's.
Oh, is that
Great
cool,
fun.
though?
Yeah, very
So-
fun.
Perfect opportunity then. I believe you folks have another song you could sing, too, that's going to be part of the repertoire for Valentine's Day?
That's correct. The name of the song it's got two names. What is it? Story of the Rose? Story of the Rose, but then we call it Heart of My Heart. So it has two different names.
And so if somebody contacts you through the website, or we'll repeat that at the end, they could have a choice as to what the song they want sung?
Well, we have two standard songs.
Right, but
and
they
we
have a
sing
choice
both
of those
them.
two?
No, we sing
Oh,
both of them.
you said two for the price of one?
That's
Yeah,
right.
and
You better
it was a
believe
bargain.
Good deal. But they can't,
They get a rose too.
but, oh, very nice, but they can't ask for an encore, though. They're gonna be in trouble.
Well,
Yeah,
it
well-
depends on the group of people they get. If they know other songs together, because they have to know the songs together, then sure, we throw in some extras.
No, but I'm saying if we have two songs, we'll just, the second could be the encore. You got one song.
Oh,
and-
yes.
and-
Good point.
and
Good
then
point.
ask for
We
the
have
encore.
been known to sing some extra songs if all the people in the quartet or quintet know the songs.
It's not, or they can hum along, though.
Yeah,
Or you can be in a
exactly.
restaurant that like that and just start humming and we'll let you join in. So
Exactly.
the second song, Guys Army to Steal Your Thunder, is what again?
Heart of My Heart or The Story of the Rose.
And by the way, before we begin it too, I always wonder about this. So the most important part is the guy who's going to do the
Pitch pipe.
pitch
yes.
pipe. Is that another role you have in the group?
I just happen to have my pitch pipe along today. He does.
Oh, I love it. Technology.
Have the app.
Wow, is that too much? Okay, guys, hit it.
Heart of my heart, I love you. Life would be naught without you. Light of my life, my darling, I love you. I love you. I can forget you never. From you I ne'er can sever. Say you'll be mine forever. I love you only.
Very nice. So talk now about, so what happens on Valentine's Day? So if people are interested in having you come to their place, or you'll do, where do you go? Anywhere, just about?
We'll go anywhere in either Buncombe County or Haywood County. That's because we have to restrict the geographical boundaries because we have to get from A to B to C to D.
Sure. Now, it's just the 5 of you, or you have other
Oh, no,
groups?
we have 6 groups like this
Wow.
out today, all around. And we have coordinators. We have people who get a call right now, and they might call us up in 5 minutes, or we may already have a message on our phone saying, you need to go at 11:30 to this place or that place. So it's real-time coordination.
So how many gigs are you doing?
Well, we have about
the group.
30 already, and we're expecting another 30. Well, that's, based on history. So there might be 60 different locations, 60 different opportunities to sing. So each of us would have, say, 10,
Wow.
each of the groups.
We love to sing, so we would like to have as many as we can. One other thing to say is that we do have a ladies quartet too from the Song of the Sky, and if people would prefer to have a women's quartet come, that's also available. You just have to request that. This is better sometimes when a lady would like to deliver a Valentine to her special guy and doesn't really think that 4 guys coming and singing let me call you sweetheart is exactly going to win his heart. So,
Well, let me ask you, so this is, when they do this, it's, is there a surprise for people? Sometimes
yes.
they don't know about it?
Many times it's a surprise. Many times.
And so it's probably, is it more fun when it's a
Oh,
surprise?
absolutely. Just to watch the reaction of the person who's receiving the Valentine, or the people. Sometimes it's a group of people who, sometimes offices will have, the boss will say, I want you to come sing to my employees.
Oh, is that cool,
Yeah.
though? What's the largest largest group you ever sang this to?
I don't know, what would you guys say?
A whole office, or?
yeah, whole
Yeah.
office.
Probably
Yeah,
15
whole
or 20.
office, 20, 30 people maybe, something like that.
And they have to bring roses for everybody?
That depends on what they ask for, but usually it's, there's somebody particular who's receiving it, even if the whole office receives it. There's somebody who's representative, and we give them the roses.
Very sweet. So the idea is that we check the website, and Steve, I'll ask you to repeat that website again?
Yes, it's www.ashevillebarbershop.com.
Okay. And when they go there, they sign up for appointment. They can only do this next 2 days. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and the sooner the better, of course, because of our availability, and also if you call us at 7 o'clock tomorrow night and say you want us to be somewhere at 7:30, that's going to be tricky.
Well, how long you do it? When did you start?
Until
and
8
how-
o'clock tomorrow night. That's our
And
deadline.
you started what time?
We started this morning at, 7 o'clock?
Wow.
Something like
Somebody
that.
wanted a Valentine's Day at 7 o'clock. What a great gift to give to somebody. Just something unusual. This also, we should mention too in closing, that this is this is for a volunteer. It's a nonprofit part of what you do.
We are nonprofit. Everything we do is nonprofit. Now, we have to have money to operate,
Right.
of course, but, and we hope to make a little money off of this, but we do it, even if we were going to break even, we'd do it anyway.
But that's the whole idea of the Valentine's thing, that they're doing it and it helps raise money for the organization.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things we do is we go into the schools and work with the youth, and this helps us provide funds. For example, when we took Fermata to Nashville a couple of weekends ago, that of course takes money, and so that's one of the things we did. We financed their trip so that they could perform on the Grand Ole Opry stage.
Did you get to go with them?
Yes, we were part of another chorus that was actually singing there as well, a seniors chorus.
Oh, that must have been exciting.
Well, it was a hoot.
Was that the first time you ever been there?
First time I'd been to the Grand Ole Opry, yeah.
And you actually performed?
Yeah, on the stage, yeah.
Wow, that must have been exciting. For the kids too?
Yeah, there was actually almost 1,000 kids there nationwide, actually internationally. And probably the highlight of the show was to have 1,000 kids, 500 of them on stage because they wouldn't all fit on the stage. The other 500 were in the audience on the aisles, and they sang an a cappella version of Seven Bridges Road. And it still gives me chills when I think about it. It was just... it
No,
was
me
almost,
too.
yeah.
And can you imagine the logistical nightmare of this, to put this together?
Yeah. But it was the international organization, Barbershop Harmony Society, put that on.
Okay. Well, like I said, on short notice, I want to thank you guys. This was fantastic. And if you're looking for a great Valentine's Day gift to give somebody, especially if you surprise them, contact one last time.
Yes, www.ashevillebarbershop.com.
Okay, and as I told Steve off the air, we're going to have to get you come back. We'll have you do more than 2 songs, so we'll have to do a whole hour of songs. But that was great. Thanks for coming on board, guys, and we look forward to hearing more
Thank
about
you.
you.
Thank you very much
Okay.
for
Happy
for having
Valentine's.
us.
Okay,
Happy
thank you,
Valentine's
guys.
Day.
And I'll have you just wait for me outside a second. I just want
you.
to do one last thing, and thank you very much. Great job. Okay, and we're wrapping up. This is Blaine Greenfield with WPVM FM, and we're going to go back to our regular programming. But thanks for listening to this special broadcast and watching us hopefully on Facebook Live.